invite you to really join us today in creating a sacred circle together to be able to do the work we have continued to do and we're devoted to do. We need not only our own spirits, right, but the spirit of our ancestors with us, and also to be here today to acknowledge that the energy of the young people and how important it is for us to be able to really bolster that energy, raise it up, to be able to help young people know how important they are in our community. So if I may ask those of you who feel comfortable, I would like you to stand with me. And our tradition is always a place towards the full circle, but we are meant today, so I think what I would ask is that we just, in our minds, not to think of ourselves as standing alone or in this way, but actually to understand that we are that circle. And so we have that in front of us here. This is part of our circle. And so I'm going to just ask you to use your own intentions, right? When you think about it, that we are in a community. But I'm going to ask you all to just please face the east, then you're going to face the west, and then you're going to face the south, the north, and then you're going to face the south. And each of these directions relate to energies that come in a circle, energies that we know help us all to remain one as a community, energies that help us to remember who we are, that reflect the cycle of our lives, and also that are around us all the time, but sometimes we forget. We forget that we are never alone. We always have not only people around us, but good spirits with us. People who care, who have gone on to the other world, but they look upon us and they think of us, and we should not forget them. So this is what our prayer affirmation is for us today. So if you can just all join me in facing the east again. So the east, we can face the east, para allá, right? And we face the east because the east represents the energy of the sun. Actually, every morning when you look up, you're looking up at a beautiful part of our life, which is sun, which is light. And so it also reflects the energy of men, the male spirit, the two-spirited men. And so we want to ask, the energy of the east to be with us today. Many of the work that we're doing is with young men, and we want to ask all the men in this room and the energy of the sun to come with us today and to keep us calm in spirit and to keep us in the light. That whatever we do, individually or collectively, is towards peace. Peace and understanding, and really being able to truly see enlightenment and justice in our world. But it is, thank you. Then we can face the west direction. This energy of the woman is the woman's energy, the feminine energy, and it represents the water. The water represents illumination. It represents tranquility and the ability that we have. Illumination, it represents tranquility and the ability that we have in us to nurture. And men and women have that ability, we all do. But I think women have, you might say, an additional teaching as caretakers, right? So we ask today that energy to come and be present with us, and also want to acknowledge all the women who, young girls and women who are part of this work that is being done, movement of social justice, and the most vulnerable are young people to lead a better life and to be protected and safe. and to be nurtured and caretaken by all of us. So we give thanks to this direction and ask for that to be present with us this afternoon, so this evening. Okay, that is this. And then we're going to face over to the north, and the north represents our ancestors. And the Atbat today is really an acknowledgement and appreciation and devotion to all those teachers that have taught us, that have led us to this work that we do, and to help us understand that we must continue to work in peace and for justice for all our generations to come. And our ancestors, if we look upon them and we think about what they told us, these teachings, this is what they were preparing us for these moments, these times, and to be strong in our spirit, and to know that we come from generations and generations of people who have loved their community. And so we are only another generation that is here to do that. So thank you to our ancestors, our abuelitas, our abuelitos that have gone on, our mothers and fathers, all those people who have tried their best to give us good teachings as human beings. And thank them for all that they have given us and to be present with us today, to help us be wiser as we leave today, to be wiser. That is this. And then I'm going to face over to the south. In the south is a new beginning, is the direction and our traditions of really the young people. It's the new beginnings, it's the unborn, it's the young people, the young minds. When they come into the world, they have just left that land and they come in here, that place, and so they carry so much understanding and knowledge. And we don't listen to children enough. We don't listen to our youth enough. So today we're going to ask that this direction be strong here in this room. We're going to ask our young people, what shall we do? How shall we do things better? What do they need? How can they be part of that solution? And we, from the other directions, will listen carefully. And we promise today, make a pledge today, to continue to respect our young people and to hold hope for them and promise for a new time. Accepting and opening your heart to this way of blessing, and may peace be within you, and around you every day. Thank you very much.
My co-facilitator, this is my niece, Mariela Gallardo. Thank you, Mari. So one of the things is that we believe in youth development and leadership, and probably many of you have seen me in several meetings. But it's important to pass it on to youth, and I wanted to make sure we had youth who understands this community, who was born and raised in this community, and will stay in this community. And so that's why I want to help pass the baton to my niece, Mariela. So I want to welcome you to the 4th Town Hall, Community Town Hall meeting. And I want to talk to you about the purpose of the meeting so you understand why you're here. Like, why am I here? Besides the good food, right? Thank you also for the people who provided the food. So this is a community report. It's a status on roadmap to peace. So one of the things about this initiative is that it is community-led, community-implemented, and community-driven. And you all are the community that we're accountable to. So this is not just a program that receives funding and then runs with it and does whatever it wants. It doesn't. We have to answer to you all, the community. So we expect to hear from you this evening, particularly the youth. There's a special breakout session for the youth. So the other thing is that we have a new director for Roadmap to Peace, and that is Gloria Romero. make sure that it connects to the original vision and also accomplishing what we set out to do. She also needs to hear from you, not just you hear from her, but she will do a quick presentation. Then we need to have that opportunity to receive feedback from the community of areas that are important to you. You need to guide this work. You have to tell us what you want. And then finally, we have to lift youth voices and leadership through arts and culture. So we will have a couple of youth performances this evening that I think you will be very impressed with. So with that, we're going to continue on here with our brief introduction. And we would like to, actually, since we've been in a spiritual space, I'd like to keep us in a spiritual space. And particular to the more recent youth that have fell. Jesus Adolfo Delgado, you can say presente. Abel Esquivel. Presente. Vanessa Guillory. Presente. Jesus Solis. Presente. Susana Poble. Presente. Luis Gongora. Presente. Aligar Perez. Presente. Alex Nieto. Presente. Gilbert Rodriguez. Presente. Gracias. Have a seat, please. We know that there are many more who lost their lives through violence. And we also know that there are many countless names in our brotherhood with the African American community and our sisterhood. We'd be here all night if we just went back 5 years. So we're not going to do that. But we honor them, even though we may not have spoken their name out loud, but we honor their spirits. So thank you so much for that dedication. So my coworker, can you please tell me about housekeeping?
The bathroom is down the hallway, and the child care is in Patty's room. 107.
So if you're from the community, you know Patty, so you know where that's at. Hey Patty, how are you? 107. Thank you. Yeah, shout out for Patty. And we're going to shout out to John Paul for hosting us. And our principal, Susan Wright, from the East City staff on here. Thank you very much. We thank you for honoring our community tradition for opening up the homes to our community here. So now it's time to recognize other leaders. So we have our presence here. We have Shimon Walton. He's the Board of Education. And he's running for supervisor for District 10. Shimon believes in Black and Brown unity. So if you have an opportunity, make sure you shake his hand. Okay? We also want to honor Carolina. Where's Carolina from Supervisory Hillary Rowan? Right in front of you. Rowan office. Thank you, Carolina. Carolina is committed to supporting the community. And then we want to honor George Sunson from BCYF. Where is he at? Old Horizon, and also anybody else from BCYF, can we get a shout out? Can we stand up? Support us, okay? And then also I'd like to honor Josh Arce, right here, Josh Arce. I want to talk about him. He's the new director for City Build, and he's working really hard with the community. Yeah. And they're going to be establishing a Mission Youth Jobs Collaborative, and it's breaking out real soon. Between RTP, City Build, and other allies. And actually, that was the original vision of Roadmap to Peace, that we wanted 500 jobs for 500 of our youth. So thank you so much. Thank you. And we also have Officer Perea from Mission Station. Please welcome. Thank you for being here.
I would like to introduce the new director of RTP, Lauren Romero. Give him a round of applause.
Hello, good evening. Thank you all for coming here and sharing your evening with us. And I'd like to, as Valerie said earlier, we're dedicating this night to all of the young men and women that, we've lost to violence. And I also want to thank those, our RTPers who couldn't be physically with us tonight, but I want to thank Carolina for taking the time to make sure that we were here with us today. And if you haven't had an opportunity, please take a look at the gallery, art gallery, and our work. Thank you. So I have the honor of serving as the initiative director for Roadmap to Peace over the last 10 months since I've come on board. But I've been part of RTP since its inception. As a service partner, as a steering committee member, and now I have the privilege to serve as director. Roadmap to Peace was birthed from the community. Since the first call to action in 2012 to today, and will continue to be what guides our work. We understand how important it is to lift community best practices and community-defined solutions. And we know how important it is, and how community has a lived experience, and how community understands on the most deepest level what the issues are and what the solutions are. So I just wanted to emphasize how important that is to us, and how it's been inspired from decades of community work and best practices. And it is this community-based vision and guiding principles and practices that guide our work and will continue to ground us and guide our work moving forward. And our vision is to place Latina youth and transitional age youth and their families most impacted by violence on the road to wholeness by facilitating authentic community connections, healing, and transformation. And through the community process that many of you were part of, and we're forever grateful for everybody's contributions, there was a roadmap that was designed and put together, which became Roadmap to Peace, and which includes these three change strategies that help us make sure that we're able to transform the health, the safety, and the socioeconomic outcomes of our Latina youth and their families. And this includes a holistic, coordinated network of services. It includes policy advocacy and system reform, make sure that we're addressing the root causes of violence, and community building. So I wanted to just share a little bit about these different strategies. Our service network is a comprehensive, holistic, coordinated network of services, of community-based services and system partners for us to help young people become more resilient and be able to reach their dreams. And so part of that, and what we'll continue to do is to align our efforts to build the capacity of our RTP partners so that we're able to make sure that we provide that network of services that they need. We're able to be there for them when they need us, how they need us, and then also to make sure that we continue to foster and maintain our current partnerships, and we build upon those partnerships, and we bring more and other partners to the table to make sure we're able to respond to all of the needs of our community. And community building, as I shared, is very, very, very true and important to our work, where we're able to create those opportunities for healing, for transformation, and for collective action. And we honor our collective strengths, our wisdom, everything that's in this room, everything that's been in all the 40 town halls that I already mentioned, all of that work, all of those efforts is what gives us our strength. And how important it is for young people. I'm so happy to see all the young people that are here tonight. are the young people being able to deepen their connection with their community. And they're able to, get in touch and empowered by their cultural roots so they know who they are, and that helps them make their choices in their life. And policy advocacy. We are very much dedicated and committed to changing those conditions, those structural barriers, the institutional racism that our young people and our families experience, so they can have positive outcomes. And how important it is for us for that to be youth-led. For the young people to be the ones to be able to decide what's important to them, what's the change that they want to see, and be involved in that change. And so we're very much committed to investing in our young leaders. So I wanted to just share also what our aspirations are, what our continued work together is. We want to continue to strengthen and expand our network of services. So we're able to, we are able to make sure we have all of the comprehensive, the wraparound services that we need to be able to offer young people and their families. That we also continue to learn from our experiences. We learn from our work. We're able to see what are we doing well, our young people and their families better off, and what are the things that we need to change in the way that we're doing things. How do we need to transform our work so we can be there for young people, how they need us to be there. And also, for young people to be the drivers of their own change, for them to decide what their journey is and how they need to heal and what their pathway is. And also to influence institutional policy change and practices so the systems that our young people unfortunately come in encounter with can be there to support them. And to not further trauma and violence. And also, of course, to continue to nurture and strengthen our community connections with all of you and with all of our partners in the community. So, I just wanted to end by thanking all of our service partners who are doing the work every day and are working tirelessly, every day in, day out. And so I wanted all of our service partners, these are the organizations that are part of our service network, and I would like if all of the staff for the organizations, if you could please stand. Thank Mission Peace Collaborative. Mission Peace Collaborative has been that advocates, the community organizers have helped birth RTP, shape RTP, and continue to be our strong partner in this work. And so thank you, Mission Peace Collaborative, and your Mission Peace Collaborative.
So anyway, at this point, we're just going to change the agenda just a little bit, okay? Because we want to tell you what it's about and we need to set the tone. So right now, we'd like to introduce Mireya Mojica, who's going to give us some spoken word. Welcome, Mireya!
I see everybody from the front seat. Okay, so good evening, everybody. Today I have two pieces lined up for you guys. One I wrote for myself after my brother was killed in October. So rest in peace, my brother CARECEN SF. And another I wrote in honor of my mom and the women in my life. So here goes the first one. You see, I tried to build myself back up because I didn't like who I saw in the mirror. But as I tried to fix a broken image, I had to come to terms that this is what I created. I created an image of manifestation reflecting everything I've been through. And Mama told me don't let that negativity define your Cause I've always felt pain, but I don't always show emotion. So the way I speak, the way I move is my form of expression. The way I love, the way I argue is my form of affection. The way I hurt, the way I feel, please understand I ain't perfect. I'm trying to show you the broken pieces I'm trying to put back together. Let you hear my real voice as it sounds like a broken record. Only playing the parts nobody really wants to hear, because without the rest of the words it isn't complete. Just a repeat, a loop of the same things. Did you see what I did there? I've been learning to love myself, because for a minute I didn't think it was possible. I've been feeling like no one understands where I'm coming from, you know? I'm only 15 years old and I've been held victim to a system as a baby. I said I'm only 15 and I've been held victim to the system as a baby. Walking through prison since I was six just to see my daddy's face breaks my heart every time I had to leave. I had no way to cope, so music was my art. My words painted colors in every verse. Born and raised in the Excelsior, the city was my playground. But we've been pushed out so many times I can't even recognize my own city. Graffiti used to paint the streets with light. Now we lay down candles to commemorate life. It breaks my heart to see the city changing, but we can't just let it slip. Kids from the Bay are unique. We are more than what's been given to us. We understand more than what we're taught. Kids like us gotta remember, always look out for where you come from. Don't let no one tell you otherwise. You're stronger than your greatest weakness, so don't let them take advantage. Always remember your power. You were born to be kings and queens, not cowards. This next one I wrote for my mother and the women in my life, so stand it up.
Yeah, come on.
She sings to her baby in her womb. Everything is everything. Mama's here, don't worry, 'cause everything is everything. Welcome, baby girl, your presence has arrived. With strength filling her eyes, she is born to survive. A life that will make another to motivate. She is the source of creation, healing, and beautification. They say a woman's curse is birth, and I don't know if they've been given life or receiving their own is worse. But a life a woman goes through can never be compared to the life of some broke dude living off no food. Because a woman has the hope of worry of feeding for both without a man at home, scared that she'll end up alone. Because a boy can swear he's a man, but leave when a new baby's at hand, and all of a sudden he wants to plan, but it's your baby that you're carrying, and you're doing all that you can. But baby girl, just remember, everything is everything. After winter must come spring, 'cause everything is everything. She was born a princess, but you treat her like a queen. A woman should never be left unseen or ever feel demeaned. A woman's worth is more valuable than a designer purse. These days we become so accustomed to buying into this curse. Love the woman who gives you her all, even at her worst. Respect her because she reminds you every day that everything is everything. A woman is sacred, a beautiful being, 'cause everything is everything. My mother's name, Alejandra Mojica, should directly translate to world's greatest mother and should be honored with love like no other. Give her the sensation of this baby's first touch and the joy of hearing her baby girl say her first words. The look in her eyes when she saw her little girl take her first steps, and let her be able to just sit back and breathe. To be able to dream of a life better than hers and be able to achieve the knowledge that she has created a life that adores hers. She's created one who dreams to be as lovely as she is because, Mama, all the material things I could have over you wouldn't complete me or make my dreams come true. You tell me that everything is everything. A woman is sacred, a beautiful being, 'cause everything is everything. If I could wish for anything in the world, I would still wish for you, because even if we fight and argue, my heart still longs for you. Mom, you're a strong, beautiful woman, and I thank you for being my mom. With a heart full of gold and so much to offer, there aren't enough words to explain it. My mama raised me up on intent to let me know that I am limitless. She got me singing. Everything is everything. A woman is sacred, a beautiful being, 'cause everything is everything. Thank you. Antonio Gomez, who I met a couple years ago. Her mom, I met her through her mom. She's going to tell you a little bit about her story and her accomplishments. I'm very proud of you, Abigail, so please come up front. They can accomplish amazing things.
All right.
Hello everyone, my name is Abigail Solis. I'm 22 years old and I've been honored to say that I'm an all-white. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for my family's support, my case manager Anna, who I truly love and his mom and trust. Anyone to support and love to be successful and stay focused. I joined RCP in Chalk about a year and a half ago when my mom was seeking for someone to help with me after getting myself in a situation where I couldn't be able to get myself out of my home. When I was finally able to meet Anna and Ronnie in person, we sat down and they helped me set up some goals to begin a fresh beginning to my life. They asked for one thing and one thing only, to meet them halfway, and as long as I did, I would not be alone on my journey to become a better mom and a better person. That same week, Anna and Ron helped me get enrolled into medical school, helped me stay in school and complete my program in my head, and not to say that I'm a proud certified medical assistant with a legit job. Even though I can say that I'm finally on my feet, I still continue to stay connected with services that Anna and Ron can offer for me to keep getting for a better future. This doesn't end here. All of my dreams will come true and I'm one step closer to RTP and talk. I did this for myself going, and I want to grow up to probably say that's my mom. Once again, thank you, Anna and Ron, for everything you love on me. I love you guys. Also, big shout outs to Ruth, Yana, Madison, Mark, RTP. I appreciate all the help.
Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Felipe Hernández, soy del Instituto Familiar de la Raza. Voy a presentar a Antonio. Antonio is one of many of the kids that I've met within the last 3 years. I did want to take the time to thank the mission community for giving me this opportunity to work with a lot of these youngsters and to open the door for a lot of them to get out of their situation. And also to get them out of the city. It's been an incredible journey with all these young men, and I'm going to pass it over to Antonio.
My name is Antonio, and Felipe is my case manager, and there's a lot of things that he has helped me with, like internally and like physically, like outside, like I know that with resources, you know, like clothes and like bus passes and stuff like that. But there's this stuff that really mean like the most, and that's like dealing with stress, with coworkers, you know, like all the anger that you have. Well, for me, so like therapists and stuff like that, you know, like the demonstration that I went to, you know, like that's like a beautiful experience for me, because it helps me like deal with this stuff like in the real life, you know. So like I would like to thank like RTP, the IFR, like Nano también, like so like yeah, that's basically I go RTP, you know.
Yeah. We are going to break out in a youth group. Jose Carrasco, Jose, where are you? CARECEN? Where are you? Carrasco. The youth have a breakout session, and that's going to be in room 106? 109. They changed it on us. 109, room 109. The adults stay in this room, and there's going to be an option of 3 breakout groups. There's going to be a group called Navigating the System that's going to be led by Felipe Hernandez that you just heard from, and he's going to be talking about how to support adults and family members on how to navigate the system, the prison and county jails. And then we have another group
That's going to be led by Carolina. So RTP families, can you raise your hand, RTP families? Give it up. Woo! All right. Carolina is going to facilitate a group for RTP families. Carolina, you want to raise your hand? And I believe they're going to be in this space over here, right in front of the artwork. And then, if I'm not mistaken, there's going to be another group called Family Support Services. And Joanna is going to be facilitating that group. And let's see, and Gloria Romero and Chris Reyes, they're going to facilitate another group for service providers and people that want to begin partnerships with Roadmap to Peace. What group are you in? You're in room 109, Chris? Yes? Okay, you're in room 109. So we have about 45 minutes now.
We have 6 of them, no, 7. And when we do that, we just look at the groups, whether it be groups of 3, groups of 5, whatever you guys feel. We'll have you guys come up, pick whatever is interesting to you, whatever you guys know about. And after we do that, we'll have ideas being spread out, solutions on how to basically stop all of these from happening without violence. That's our main topic, no violence whatsoever. So after we do that, we're going to come back in this form, and then we're going to present each group, and then we're going to close the circle. But first, we're going to start with the icebreaker, so everyone's comfortable, you know what I mean?
Alright, so the game is called People to People. There will be some light touching involved, not too much. For example, there will be music playing and we're going to mingle around, go in different directions, and I'll say elbow to elbow, or toe to toe, even back to back. And then every so often I'm going to ask you guys a question. And then I want you guys to introduce yourself first, get to know one another a little bit, and...
That's when we say people to people.
Yeah.
People to people, you guys find a partner.
Then that's when I ask you a question. But before then, we're just...
So you guys ready to hop into it? Yeah?
Alright.
Anybody stand up? You want to come do this, man? Alright, so just the music starts playing, and then when the music starts, everybody just move around, different directions. Try not to stay with your friends, you know, that's the point. Stop moving around.
Alright, elbow to elbow. Get a partner. Alright. Continue. Walk. Walk. Toe to toe. Back to back. Alright, people. Yeah, let's all. Yeah, I'm gonna do some body parts.
No, I got about one.
Alright, people to people. Partner? Okay, so, what is your favorite place in the world to feel at peace? What is your favorite place in the world to feel peace of mind? I was gonna say like Mexico, my mom, like rooftop. No, I was gonna say shower or Alright, next time, you guys all got to know each other a little bit. Okay, mingle. Alright, let's all start to walk again. Back to back.
I'm the biggest hypocrite in 2015. Once I finish this week, face is what I mean. And feeling this way since I was 16. Keep to my senses. I never like to say it, wait, fuck your friendship, I meant to. I'm African American.
Introduce yourself. And tell them about someone who's ever helped you out when you were in trouble. Tell them about someone who's ever helped you out when you were in trouble.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of my girlfriend, Tina. It was a good answer that, like, my homie that's ran away or something.
It's like my she was like, I was schoolwork really.
Alright, that's it guys, time's up. Start to mingle around again. Alright, people to people. Someone new. Okay, let's all name one thing that you can change to magically make your life happier.
What would you change?
That would make you
I just don't know.
Yeah, I didn't like
That's for real. I would change anything. Same thing with my dad, but I would probably have him in my mind. Do you see him though? I can imagine how. What grade are you in? Grade 8? What school are you in? I was that tall, 8th grade?
Alright, I think that should be time. Let's start to mingle around again. Alright, elbow to elbow. Pinky to pinky. Fist to fist. Alright, toe to toe. Alright, let's make it again. Start to walk around. Alright, people to people. So what do you see yourself doing 5 years in the future?
you see yourself doing 5 years in the future?
I see myself finishing college.
Be YouTuber and being founder.
And like campaigning.
Alright, I think that's about it. Everybody
I've been to like
You have black on brown violence. A little example for that in high schools, you know, African American kids, Latino kids, whether getting into arguments or fights through like racial slurs was stupid. And then we have access to guns, being able to obtain like firearms or any type of weapons through, say, like a third party or your friend, you know what I mean, illegally, and that's not.
We have police violence. I'm sure you guys have all heard stories and the news stuff about that. Shooting unarmed people of color, over escalating situations, discrimination, and harassing youth of color in particular. We also have bullshit, ratchet drama, which I know we're all familiar with. So spreading rumors, petty arguments,
So, Latino on Latino violence, that's going a lot. It's going on in a lot in the streets, whether it be different colors, whatever, like territory, sex, you know, or Latinos even robbing other people, you know, people of their own color. And that's not okay. And we also have ICE raids. You know, families have been broken up. People have been in deep depression because of this. We're wasting so much money to get people out. And then we also have violence against women, domestic violence. And that's also been a main topic within our generations because it's not really well noticed, you know what I mean? And yeah, we're going to talk about those. And then our main question would be, what can young people of color do to stop this kind of violence in ways that ensures justice? You know what I mean? So we're going to form into groups, talk about these topics, and basically you guys are going to raise your hands, whichever one you guys want to talk about or go to, or what you guys know about or interested in. So I'm going to have her set that up.
Alright, so let's think about whichever one you'd like to go to, and then we'll start to set up. Does everybody made their mind? Does everybody kind of know what they'd like to do? So let's start off with black and brown violence. Who would like to? Alright.
There you go, we got two.
Alright, you guys could go, maybe sit down over there just to let
All three.
and then access to guns. Access to guns. Anybody? Alright, you can skip that one for now. We'll go back to it. Police brutality or violence. Alright, why don't you set up over there then? Or you too. Bullshit, ratchet drama. Takers. Oh, I'm surprised.
This is like
I know.
That's the biggest one.
Latino violence. Come on, guys.
There you go, there you go.
Must be your Latin. Okay, cool. Ice raids. So,
Anybody interested? There you go. There you go.
alright. We'll video this over there. And then, violence against women, domestic abuse. Cool.
There you go.
Great.
Yeah, you guys want to take a seat over here?
I'm so surprised because participating
be able to know what I can do within my community to help and support my community as well. I know. That's definitely the same feeling because it's like it's so easy to post on Instagram or anything and just like it, but my brother, he was shot and killed by the West Oak Marketplace. Yeah.
Who's your brother?
His name was Charlie Tyndall. So I'm sitting there right next to it like, it's never serious until it hits home, but it was always serious for me.
Don't be afraid to
Don't be afraid to scream.
shut up, best friend.
No, you're right. Don't kill me, girl.
You guys ever like hear like you guys got any like concerts that are like gangsta that are like involved in street like yeah like street lights and like ever break it down to you or even discuss?
So does the black community.
Todo
But instead of uniting across the board,
porque si no es nada enseñable en la casa, como en la calle, cómo vas a representar. Lo último, si quieres ser de la calle, ser de la calle, si no cualquier cosa, y a otra persona no lo puede mantener en la vida, no crean en la vida.
Sit right here?
You don't see it, but I'm like, I have my great grandfather, my dad's grandfather.
How do they organize that? Like, say for protests, that's easy.
As a much younger generation, I want you to speak up. knowing, right, is sheer ignorance, right? Like, I know there's hella stereotypes, even within Latinos, right? Latinos, when you look at our census, we don't have a category no more. You look at 2010, there's no more Latino, because Latino is considered all races. It's Asian, it's black, it's white. Right, and so the minute we start realizing that our shared history is everything together, like over here, and eventually it became its own republic where everybody who was there was free.
Good conversation.
Mental abuse or even threats of.
But he loves me.
No, that's not love.
That's what she was saying. That she was saying.
You need to reevaluate your definition.
Okay. Well, to tell a story, she's getting a divorce, but she's going through therapy because she suffered PTSD, traumatized her life. So I'm just wondering, this is real, right?
Yeah.
And then, he loved me.
And see, sometimes when people like that say like he loves me, it's because that's what they grew up seeing, and that's the definition of love. So this issue goes deeper into like our parents, their parents, when he apologizes, when he asks for forgiveness, and he says, "I'm never gonna do it again. I love you. I want to be with you. I don't want to be with nobody else."
Yeah.
He's manipulating you. You have to be stronger than that. You have to learn. You just can't keep continuing, because then something detrimental could happen. You don't want to lose your life over this, over someone who so-called loves you. It's serious.
There's different forms of therapy. Like me venting to one of my homegirls, like that's therapy. So I think just having like options, like not just maybe not speaking to somebody like a professional, but like maybe a limpia, like maybe like a sister, a book, like maybe some facials and like some wine or some
Right. We're at that age.
Yeah, no.
Right. What's your group?
Latino on Latino violence.
Brown on brown, yeah.
And then we have Latino Flip, and they're separate. They don't work together.
You guys have any like solutions, like any little whatever, like doesn't like there's no wrong answer. There's no wrong answer. None.
Tal vez una idea mía de cómo solucionarlo es de tratar de unir a los jóvenes, que hagan algo y que se junten para no que digan, solo porque ese es de un barrio, ese es del otro. Eso no significa que te vas a matar con ellos, no tienen que hacer algo juntos para que no se maten entre ellos. Trabajar juntos.
Ya después estando grande, ¿me entendés? Porque en el caso de uno, ¿me entendés? Cuando uno le enseña cosas desde pequeño, loco, ¿me entendés? Y ya después es difícil dejarlo ya grande, ¿me entendés? Ya cuando ya has crecido con esa onda que te yo pienso que, loco, pusieran más oportunidades para los chavalos que no viven a los gobiernos. Yo creo que vienen a Asia, que dejen mucho, a veces distraer la mente, también ayuda mucho. Te ayuda mucho a desarrollar de tu mentalidad, pues me entendés, como cosas pero como te digo, ya después ya grande ya no hay solución. Bueno, yo pienso que no hay solución,
Pero sí hay solución.
La violencia siempre va a haber, pero
para cualquier cosa hay
disminuirla.
Para cualquier cosa, sí. Say that you messed up, like last week. You can't change the beginning. You got to start from where you're at and change the ending where you want to end up.
Who's this group?
This is police violence.
Okay, thank you.
Right, so I think having like
So we're gonna get back into groups soon now, and then
tell you what you need to know. Yeah, they'll tell you and one thing you have me sitting down, it's like our conversations would be before you learn about the birds and the bees. Your parents are telling you how to interact if the police come stop you. Watch out for that. And I'm sitting down like, man, my mama taught me about how to interact with the police before she taught me how to have success. Why is that a conversation more than that? So that's also another thing.
stigmatizing the violence that we have, right?
Okay, here are the notes, so you guys figure out how you want to present back to everyone here. We're all together, one or two.
Alright, so as you can see, we have two colors. This was the initial conversation we were having around why there is violence between black and brown people. and then specifically looking at like our own past experiences, and then the orange part is basically what it is that could be done on a young person perspective as far as being able to solve for this problem. Want to kick it off, partner?
Sure. One thing that we came to understand was that both the youth from both communities is misguided and also misunderstood, and that's just like a big umbrella, and there's bigger problems at the end, at the bottom. But we've both been oppressed, and there's both been discrimination, and even with stereotypes that we even have about each other, and it's just misunderstanding somebody else, not actually going and taking that next step to understand each other's struggle, you know?
And with that said, we established that we have like common histories, you know, like Latinos like to act like we are our own thing, our own separate thing. And the truth is that Latinos make up all the races together. We're Asian, we're white, we're Native, we're black, like the slave trade hit all parts of America. It wasn't just the US. And then also with black people, like the mixture of African American, it wasn't something that was just like, oh, well, nobody's gonna mix with black people. It's like, no, they were at the time before it was claimed territory through the rest of the Americas. You still have free natives, and they were mixing and mingling because everybody's trying to get free because that was a free nation at the time. So it's like those histories in themselves were something that were repeated across borders before borders were even established. And the truth is that these histories about how our past are intertwined with each other are being misrepresented or not told and just shoved under the rug, right? We don't talk about them. We don't talk about how Latinos are negritos, how we have curly hair, how we have the same features, how we all have different ways of talking, and we practice like Santeria and how that's all mixed together. Or like, if you look at La Bamba, like the original version of La Bamba was originally sang by African slaves of Veracruz, right? Some people don't know that. And it's just like, people are like, oh, that's a Latino thing. And it's like, no, it's a us thing. It's a people of color thing. And establishing that we have a shared history and that will help us see each other as people and not as other, right? Like, I'm Latino, he's black. And it's like, nah, we're brother and sister, Like, this is my brother. Like, we have a shared history. Like, I see him as a person, he sees me as a person.
Correct.
And that's what matters. I'm never going to want to point a gun at him and vice versa, right? And I think that's something that young people need to understand when it comes to solving for this problem of black on brown violence and vice versa. So some things that we talked about being able to solve for this issue is like first being able to tell our histories, going back as far as we can. Some of us can only tell our grandparents' histories, maybe just our parents' histories if we know both parents, right? So it's like a lot of our histories are being lost just in the most like close in proximity like time, right? We can maybe go back to 60 years, but we can't go back 100. I could go back to 1846. How many other people could do that, right? And I'm like a really rare case because I love history. But being able to ignite that in young people and being able to have shared spaces where it's like, it's not just BSU and Latino clubs in high schools, but it's like, yeah, we have those too, and those are important spaces to have for us to heal, but also having a space where we can heal together and talk about our histories. You want to talk about some of our solutions?
Yeah, we'll talk about our solution. One thing I wanted to touch on real quick though was just like the fact that we lose our history. I know growing up and just being in history class, how you learn about, I know the same African American figures over and over again. Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks, Malcolm X, and then we stop. And it's just like, I don't know if that was the same thing for you, but
pretty much.
Just like that
baseline
things, you don't go too deep into it. Let's get our 28 days in and let's keep it pushing.
We can name like 20 white heroes and maybe a handful of black and brown combined.
Which is crazy. And I feel like the first step to making sure there's justice and ensuring peace between the black and brown community is the fact that you gotta love yourself first and like really understand yourself, because I can't be a mad, angry person and you expect me to come at you respectfully, So I think love yourself and love other people and just be kind to one another. Be kind and try to be understanding, as understanding as you can.
Yeah, to piggyback off that, like hurt people, right? If you hurting inside, you don't love yourself, you hate yourself, you want to die, whatever, you're not going to care about the next person that's walking down the street. So it's like part of sharing our history is first understanding who we are, where we're from, and embracing that. Once we do that, we can then pass that on to the next person and the next and the next, which is why we even have a room full of people like y'all who are willing to do something about your life, right? Like, it means something.
And on top of that, you're not alone. You're not the only one that want to hurt yourself or you feel sad or you're going through something. There is actually people right there on the forefront with you going through that same exact thing. And that also goes with, being able to come together. And I feel like events in the community bringing us together would be a amazing place to, get over that.
Yeah, so like potlucks, club meetings, all that good stuff, places
Just
for us
get it
to
happen.
heal and share together, and acknowledging each other as people.
All right.
Got a lot to say.
So we got police violence. Some ways that we can stop it: protesting, organized protests though, so we can get the whole community knowing what we're gonna do, have backup plans in case anything does go wrong, and we can spread the word if we have it before the protest. Some other stuff: get rid of the unresponsible laws. So as what's your name again, my man? Caden. He said there's a law where it's like you shoot one bullet, you have to empty out the whole clip. So that's a unresponsible law. Like, it's a stupid law that shouldn't even happen. And then how we could get away with it is fight law with laws. So you can't take a law away, but you could build a law upon that law. So get politics, get people of color to help our communities fight the government, get us to know what's going down in the government and how we could help.
Like for this one also, like most people in government don't understand what's happening in the communities. So we need more people like London and Ridge that go into the government and can help us rather than just people who don't understand what's actually happening. So we need people of color in government to help the people of color. And like what we would change is like some of the consequences that are happening after the police violence is just like they're just dumb. Like nothing's literally happening to them. Once they do something wrong, they'll just be like, all right, pay up, and then you're done. But like I feel like there should be like more reasonable consequences for their actions, other than just like something like a life is not worth money. Like if you take a life, you should serve life.
I think you can.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Summed it all up.
There you go.
Latino violence, who did that?
On the Latino violence is that oftentimes we'll have different like cultural Latinos, like for example we have Mexicans and we have Hondurans and we have people from El Salvador, all in like obviously like the same high school, the same like social spaces, and for some reason like there's some tension between that. And so one thing that we should do is like try to remember like our common, like what we have in common, our language. A lot of like our parents came to this country seeking the same dream, so we should always reinforce that and make sure that we see each other as brothers and sisters and not like as something else, like as the other. We should see each other as one instead of dividing. And yeah.
Good, bro. Some solutions is like showing the younger ones, so they could start off like with the like what you said, like not judging like other people, and like getting together with more of their own like Raza, and like the dark people too, and like other like races, So I mean, well, that's the best like place to start is like from the little, because like the older people, I don't know, like I think it's too late, but not, but it's more harder como para meter la cosa en la cabeza, like. So I mean, yeah, like that's basically what like we got on here. So like thanks for hearing us out, I guess,
Yeah.
Women against women, Deja, Destiny.
That's all.
Come on. Come on. You had a lot to say earlier. You did really good.
For 1 minute.
I'm saying right. 1 minute. It's for 60 seconds.
60 seconds.
Come on.
Destiny picked a lot of these ones up here. Come on, Nazma.
I'll make that poster. You better handle that.
You a part of this. Alright, we did the violence against women, and one thing we talked about is women standing up for other women and holding men accountable for the actions that they do. Paying attention to signs like, say like, if a man hit you once, he's going to hit you again.
Right.
Don't be afraid to ask for help or scream if something's going on. Don't be afraid to fight female defense. And what's this one? We didn't put this one. I don't remember this one. Bitch. I'm sorry, y'all. Rape culture, because there's a lot of rape going on nowadays that we don't talk about a lot. So, yeah, that's what we did. That's what we came up with.
All right.
So we want to get a picture. If you guys want to come up as a group, we're gonna take a picture. That's cool with you?
Thank you, guys.
Within the city that burns with passion and desire, giving the mission the flames, they grow higher. It's a heart that pulses with happiness and love, protected by the spirits and the powers above. Me and my tribe trying to bring back the tropical vibe, get high like top and low riders we ride, do or die. It's more than a matter of pride, it's an expression of gratitude for just being alive. We'll start, go down to Dolores Park, go on reality, even all of the art. It's more than just entertainment, it's the way that we live. We didn't learn how to take, we were taught how to give. I know that money don't grow on vision palm trees, but the best things in life to enjoy are free, taking a stroll. South the city's heart and soul, the treasure beyond measure, shining bright as the gold.
Liliana, Samantha, Dakari, Ava, and Aimani. Let's give a big round of applause to our amazing youth band. Manolo Daza. Thank you so much for having us here. We're so honored to be here tonight. Just the amazing people in this space, down to some of my mentors, you know, that have really influenced me, and to, you know, just everyone, all the youth in here who are really doing amazing work and are showing a lot of strength in this community. Thank you, you know, to you all, because you're the future right now, you know, and we want to keep that going. We want to keep that space for you all to have your voice. Thank you so much for Jose Carrasco for reaching out to us. Thank you a lot. Joanna over here, someone very dear to me. We are Rising Rhythm Youth Dance and Music Company, and we do performing arts around the city. We also really stress the professionalism of it for them, really trying to figure out if they, you know, want a career in dance and music, that with hard work and determination they can do it all. They really wanted to. So, you know, as long as they put their mind to it, you know, the opportunities are endless. So if you want more information, we have a table over there with info. We have just kind of some things that, you know, we've been doing, some shows coming up. Yeah, I mean, that's all I have to say. Thank you so much for here.
Yes. The poem at the beginning was dedicated to the mission. It was the official Carnival song of last year's Carnival, which is Corazón de San Pancho. And so, yeah, the song is about the mission being the heart of San Francisco. It's a thriving, you know, diverse community that provides so much in terms of art, that provides a perspective on kind of like a worldly perspective that basically acknowledges that we're all intertwined and that we're all interconnected. So, yeah, so in honor of the mission and in honor of that spirit, we perform for you. So thank you guys.
Hello, my name is Carolina Moscoso. I work with 5 Keys Charter School in custody at the county jail here in San Francisco. We are representing our in-custody young people today by showing off their art work.
And these are Roadmap to Peace participants?
Yeah, Roadmap to Peace participants, exactly, correct. 18 to 24-year-old Latino identified.
Right.
Yes.
And who receives these pictures?
The family members. So our young people agreed that they wanted to share this with their loved ones today. So their family members are going to be able to take this home with them tonight.